Hey everybody, BT here. We're out in the Missouri Ozarks on this beautiful yet overcast Missouri day. Really nice weather, which is really handy because I planned on doing this video like 2 weeks ago, but unfortunately the weather did not want me to do that. So I had to sit there and watch it rain and wish I could go do what I wanted to do. But today we're going to do something that I've been wanting to do for a while. I've kind of been dallying around and not getting it done, and well, today's the day. We're going to go to a place known locally as the Witch's Grave. And I'll tell you a little bit of information about it. I don't have a whole lot. Nobody has a whole lot. But I'll tell you what I know. And let's go see it. Right now, we are actually at the Witch's Grave, which is right over there. We're not going to talk about it yet because I want to take you to Mayfield Cemetery first. I want to show you exactly what it's like to get to Mayfield Cemetery, so you kind of know the story behind why the witch is here and not down there. So let's ride. Here we are, Mayfield Cemetery. That's a rough ride, and I'll tell you the truth, it would not have been a bad idea to have aired my tires down before I got out here. It's pretty rough. My tires are aired up for highway running, and yeah, it wouldn't have hurt to have aired them down. But so we're here. I'll show you this place. We'll talk about it a little bit, and then I'm going to go back. I have to rest up for that trip back, though. Right here behind me. That way. It's Mayfield Cemetery. And we are as close as I know to get to anyway, to the town of Mayfield. Now, you might ask, where exactly is the town of Mayfield? Well, it's not. It's gone. It's been gone a long time. As a matter of fact, I don't even know when when the town fell apart. The foundations are out here in these woods somewhere. I don't know exactly where, but we are on government land, and there's a lot of folks out hunting this weekend. I'm not going to traipsing around in the woods and bother people. But where we're going to go is a few miles up the road. But let's take a look at the cemetery first, because there's bound to be some interesting stuff here. Now, I don't know if you can tell. This is a very old cemetery. Very old. Judging by the depressions in the ground, I'd say there's a lot of people in here that were probably buried in a wooden box. All these stones are various levels of rough shape. Maybe 1880. Read that one. Judging by the dates here, most of these people's grandkids are probably already gone. And there's more graves here that we just lost the markers to. There's flowers set out here. And I don't know how this works. I can't imagine who would come out here to lay flowers on some of these graves. And that's got a 1879 date on it. I can't tell if that's born or died. But a lot of these, you know, they did well. They ain't got much family left that we can remember them. So I don't know. Now that is Mayfield Cemetery. Now, we didn't come to Mayfield Cemetery for Mayfield Cemetery. I wanted to show you the road to Mayfield Cemetery because it's important to the story. And of course to mention that we are in the twisty, crazy Ozark Hill Country, and it's pretty rough to get around. And this is modern roads. So imagine in, say, 1897, that's an important date. 1897, trying to navigate around here, especially in the wintertime. So now then that you've seen Mayfield Cemetery, you know where Mayfield Cemetery is, approximately. You know what kind of ride it is to get here. Now then, now I'm going to take you to the witch's grave. Local lore says this witch was so evil that the good people of Mayfield would not allow her to be buried in their cemetery. So she's about 2.5 miles that way. And actually, that's towards y'all here. That away. So now I'm going to climb back out. We'll go see the witch's grave. Well, here we are. This is the grave of Eliza Jane Laycock Thomas. This is about 2 miles from Mayfield Cemetery, where we were just at, which doesn't sound like far, but whew, it's rough. Now, as I mentioned earlier, legend says Eliza Jane Thomas was a witch. So evil they wouldn't let her be buried in the cemetery. And as you can see from the various markings and things in this grave, there's an awful lot of people that believe that story. I do not know why the mirror is there. It's not my job to clean up this grave site, but if you'll notice, there's all sorts of little cars. There's a 22 Magnum round, can of beans, and all manner of apparent offerings and everything else. I'm not leaving an offering. And I'll tell you why. Because Eliza Jane Thomas was not a witch. Eliza Jane Thomas, at the time Eliza Jane Woodcock. If I've got all my history right. I think I do, not positive. There's remarkably little information about this person. But Eliza Jane Laycock was born in 1865-ish. She grew up here in the area, as I understand it. I believe the family was originally from California. But yeah, 1865-ish. She was born. She married. I don't have a date on the marriage. And for the life of me, I can't remember the husband's name. But she married. Husband died young. And here in these woods, somewhere within a few hundred yards of me, is actually the foundation of her home. I don't know where it's at. And as I said before, deer season, I don't want to go out tromping around and scraping up his deer. So we're not going to look for it. But in 1897, at the age of approximately 32, Eliza Jane Thomas died. She lived by herself. Her husband had died a few years earlier. She lived by herself in her cabin here in the woods a few miles from town. And of course, there were people in town who talked because, well, she's up there by herself. But, people couldn't talk, especially in a small town. And, anyway, she died wintertime. And apparently it took her friends a few days to find her. When they found her, and they went to proceed to plant her in the cemetery, this is as far as they made it. I don't know the story of exactly why, but apparently conditions were too rough for them to make it all the way to the cemetery. So they buried her here. And if you'll notice, they didn't even bury her in the ground. They probably got a shallow hole dug. Ground was too hard, so they laid her there and piled rocks on top, which, if you know anything about such things, it wasn't exactly uncommon. And here she sits. There used to be a marker here. Of course, it's long since gone. But local legend, as I said, says she was a witch, she was bad, and that's why all these Satan worshipers and Wiccans and various other people come out here and leave tribute and so on and so forth. But we're not going to do that because we're not Wiccan. Certainly not Satanist. We don't believe in leaving tributes like such. At least I don't. Y'all may. And if that's the case, we'll come leave your own tribute because I ain't got nothing with me. But sadly, the story's not true. These people are out here, they're out here doing all this stuff on this grave, thinking they're doing this nice thing for this witch from way back when. And it's not. They're just out here desecrating the grave. That's local legend for you, I guess. Folklore and such. If somebody's dug her up, could be worse, right? But anyhow, so that was right out here. That is the fascinating, remarkably short and fact-lacking story of Eliza Jane Thomas. Out here in near as it can be to Mayfield, Missouri, which, like I said, is long gone. There is a Mayfield over by Cape Girardeau, not the same Mayfield. Anyway, so that's it. That's the whole kit and caboodle. Thanks for watching. I'm gonna navigate my way out of here, and we'll see you later. Now, as I mentioned before, she was buried in the wintertime. These rocks are very neatly stacked. It looks like cemented together. I'm thinking they probably buried her here in the wintertime, came back when the conditions were more favorable, and built a legitimate wall around the grave. I don't know if that's true, but that's what I'm thinking. So I don't know. If you've got any more information about Eliza, time again. If you've got any more information about Eliza Jane Laycock Thomas, contact me. It's backroadstraveler@hotmail.com. Backroads Traveler with one L. Yeah. Shoot me an email because I'd love to know a little bit more. Anyway, y'all take it easy.